Hello everyone, I hope you're doing good. I'm back with a new tutorial, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to make this particle fluid simulation in Cinema 4D. So, let's get started. I'll go to the asset browser and look for a good 3D model that I can use. I like this generic head model, so I'm gonna drag this in the viewport. I'll delete this default material, reset its coordinates so that it sits at the origin. Now the viewport is much cleaner. I'll also delete this tag and put this mesh under a subdivision surface. Now it's extra smooth, and let's rename this to container. So this is our fluid container, and now let's add the fluid emitter. So go to the simulate menu, emitters, and add this liquid flow emitter. I'm gonna drag this down, select the liquid flow emitter, go to the emission tab, and here you can change all the settings. So first let's reduce the emitter size. I'll go to the front view and make sure it sits inside the volume of this mesh. I'll rotate it like this so that it points upward and move it down here. And now let's add a collider tag to our container. So right click on this container, go to the simulation tags and add a collider. And now change this liquid collision side to inside because we want the particles to stay inside of this mesh. And now I'm going to hide this container and let's run the simulation. You can see some particles are shooting out, but this is not looking good. So let's play with some settings. Hit Control D to go to the project settings, then go to simulation, go to the liquids tab. Here you can change all the settings related to the liquids. So first I'm gonna decrease this default radius, increase extra iterations to 5, and let's run the simulation again. It's looking better, but we need to decrease the particle radius even more. So let's set this default radius to 1. Also go to the scene option, and here I'm gonna turn off the gravity. I like to add the gravity force. This way we can have a better control over all the forces. Let's go to the liquid flow emitter and decrease the speed to 20 centimeters and increase the packing to 150. And so let's run the simulation again. You can see it's looking much better. And you can see some particles are shooting out, and they are shooting out because there is no extra space. We need to be careful about that. I'm gonna reduce the speed to 5 centimeters. Let's change the emitter size and make it even smaller. Now you can see it's feeling much slower. So let's go to the project settings again and then go to the liquids. And here I'm gonna decrease the radius to 0.5. We're gonna have more particles, and all the particles are much closer to each other. So we are getting a much more defined simulation. Let's increase the timeline. And yeah, it's looking good. Let's increase the flow amount a bit. As you can see, when the container is completely filled, particles are shooting out. So we need to stop emitting particles at certain point in time. So let's say we want to stop emitting particles at around 160 frames. So let's go to the settings and check this range option and set the duration to 160. Now, if you run the simulation, it's gonna stop emitting particles after 160 frames. See, that's what we want. And to make it look more interesting, we can add some forces. Let's add a turbulence force. We'll drag it down. We'll make this a child of the particle group. Also, I'm gonna add a friction force and increase the strength to 70. And now let's run the sim. You can see we are getting some movement here because of the turbulence, but it's too weak. So let's increase the strength and run it back. See, we are getting much better look and the turbulence is working nice. We are getting good waves like motion. This is nice. So I think this is looking good. I'm gonna keep the particle count lower for now. I'll increase it when I'm ready to cast the simulation. Set it to object mode. Drag this particle group into the object field. And let's add a sphere, reduce its size, and lower the segments. Put this under the cloner and hide the particle group. And now if you run it, we can see the sphere getting cloned onto the particles. So let's decrease the size even more. Let's set it to 0.5. I'm gonna decrease it even more for the final look. And if you want, you can also add a color modifier. For that, you can go to the simulate menu, modifiers, and add a color mapper and put this under the particle group. Right now, the property is set to age. I'm gonna change it to velocity speed. And let's choose a good preset. I'm gonna choose this one. Let's run the same. We can also see the particle color based on the velocity. So yeah, if you want, you can do this. I'm gonna turn it off for now. So we are mostly done. And for the final look, I'm gonna decrease the default radius even more. Let's set it to 0.2 and let's see what we're getting. Lower particle radius means you are getting more defined fluid simulation, but it's gonna take more time to calculate. So keep that in mind. Also, if you decrease the particle radius, you will have to increase the particle flow amount because this time the particles are sticking closer to each other. And if they are sticking closer to each other, they're gonna occupy smaller space. And in order to fill the remaining volume in the same time, you might need to increase the flow amount. So just keep that in mind. I will link the original project file in the description that has all the lighting setup. So you can just download it and have fun, experiment with it. So that's all for now. I hope you liked this video. If you did, then leave a like and comment. Also, if you're new to my channel, then do subscribe for more contents like this. And if you want to support the channel, then head over to my Patreon and take a membership. That's gonna help the channel a lot. And you will get early access to the videos and some exclusive project files. I'll see you later.